Hey there, hey, it's Michelle, your big sis with Brilliant Quest. And today I want to talk to you about the biggest personal skill that you need that they don't want you to know about. So today, what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and resilience. Oh yes, the world is on fire. It's on fire. Okay, calm down, Michelle. All right, so one of the biggest skills that I recently found out that I have that was brought to my attention by family members and friends was something that I take for granted. You see, I have been a solopreneur, online, digital entrepreneur for the last 16, well, almost 17 years. And there is a skill that if you've been in the game this long, you have. Sometimes you're aware of it, and sometimes it's just like breathing air. It's kind of the equivalent of a goldfish not knowing that they're swimming in water. And that is the skill of self-resilience, self-sufficiency, and self-reliance. Now, I'm not talking about the self-reliance of Walter Emerson. I'm not talking about going out in the woods and building something just with, your tools and stuff. That is great. I admire those people. Watch their videos. Shout out to you. No, I am talking about the ability to take a thought, an idea, something that you create in a realm of vision, the visionary realm, bring it into fruition, make it valuable enough for people to exchange what is the highest concentrated energy here on earth, usually money, to give you in exchange for that high value that you have created so that you're able to pay your bills and take care of yourself outside of a corporation or something where it's organized and you're not the person in control of it, And I'll tell you how this came about. When OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, was released by the board, it was a shock that went through the AI industry. They were like, wait a minute, they're getting rid of Sam? He's like the Steve Jobs of this time. And at that time, I was like, what? To the point where I was discussing it with other entrepreneurs. And that's when I started to realize that, this is a skill that we take for granted. We take for granted that it's all on us. We have to come up with something so valuable and memorable and remarkable that people are willing to value it above the money that they have so that they exchange it with us. And I was like, if a CEO on the cutting edge at the time of AI can get sacked, that is letting everybody know nobody is safe. And so that is one of the things I want to just make you aware of. Start practicing now. Start becoming financially self-sufficient. Now, how do you become financially self-sufficient? Well, first and foremost, you don't get caught into a lot of traps. I am going to catch heat for what I am about to say, but time and time again, I have had to go out on the plank and pull friends back. And one of the first traps that people get you with when you say, I'm going to become self-sufficient, is MLMs. Like I said, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna just say it. And at this particular time, I'm not saying that I won't ever think differently, but at this particular time, and with all the experience and knowledge, because I have been in MLMs, I am going to say an MLM is not self-sufficiency. If you are not the person creating it, if you're not in the group that is the beginning of launching it, you don't need to be in it, because the people who launch it at the beginning, they get the money. You pay the money. Like I said, I'm not going to bash it or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just going to say that is not one of the steps to teaching you self-sufficiency when it comes to financial situations of creating monies on your own. I am going to say you must understand the energy of money. And I thought I had a shout out to well, she's not Miss Maria, Dr. Maria. The energy of money. You can only, they used to have an ebook of it, because I'm an ebook. I'm a audiobook girl. But Miss Dr. Maria Nemeth, she came up with this energy of money, and it is an excellent, it's dense, but it's like a workbook. It really is. And it's going to take you some months to get through it. But she talks about your energy, your money beliefs and everything. But one of the things that she talks about in there is starting to understand the visionary difference between value where it's created and where it exists in reality, and what it takes to do that. I don't know why it took me this long, not this long, but it took me a long time to understand that money is not currency, especially when you're an entrepreneur. Money is the exchange of concentrated energy from the people that you're serving, that they say what you have to give is more valuable than this concentrated energy I'm holding on to. And I say that because this is important. Listen, Linda, this is important. When you are learning to become self-sufficient, you must learn how to create value, not perceived value. Perceived value can be taught, yes, and it's usually in the way you present something. But first and foremost, it must become valuable. So let me explain really quickly the difference between value and perceived value. You need both of them, but you need to learn value first. Value looks like this. You take an idea, and most people start with a problem, but you can't really solve problems until you understand the pathway of an idea. Because how it works is this. You get an idea, you start thinking about the idea, and then you must put action to the idea. And then the idea must start to marinate and work on you. Problem solving does not start at the idea. Problem solving starts when the idea must move from you to be understood and articulated in others externally. So the idea comes, you start marinating on it, working it, and putting action to it to see that it works for you. Once that idea has matured enough in you that it offers you value, then it can start to then become something that can problem solve. And here's a tip. You know, an idea is ready to be transformed into a problem-solving solution when it can fulfill one or all of this acronym, ASS. I'm not going to say it, but it's ASS. When it can help someone automate something, simplify something, or systematize something. It's, if you want to look at it this way, automation is saving people time. Simplifying something is making something doable, so it's teaching. Systematizing something is taking the complexity out of something. And then that leads to the problem solution. The problem solution is when you offer a solution. Now get this, there are a lot of solutions out there that people don't want because they're not valuable, because either they're too complex, they require too much time, they don't teach people in a way that they're able to replicate. And so you want to make it where you got ASS, automate it, simplify it, systematize it, and you got the problem solution where it is something that people can believe that will work for them or that they can use to solve their problem. Okay, that's the pathway that entrepreneurs start to use to provide value. Now let's talk a little bit more about the value. So once you've got an idea and the idea has become real for you, you start putting action to it, and you got it to where it will ASS, and then you start putting it into the problem solution. It looks like this for the problem solution. It looks like something that is so simple that even a caveman can do it. Remember the Geico commercial? So easy, even a caveman can do it. We use that because that offers value. Don't make people think too hard. There's a book, I should have had it ready, but there's a book called, Don't Make Them Think, when you're learning how to turn things into value. So I'll use this example so that you'll understand. Product use design. A door. There's this book, and I know I talk about books a lot, but there's this book called The Design of Design of Everyday Things, or the Everyday Thing Design, where this person talks about how to make something useful and valuable for people based on the design, meaning that it should have a visceral effect on them, meaning that when they first see it, they understand how to use it. Then it has the next level, which is a behavioral level, meaning that they now are starting to use it and it becomes part of the behavior. And then after that, it then transcends where it becomes part of the societal way of doing things. Let's take something old, a telephone booth. A telephone booth, little structure, telephone in it. When you see it, you see that there's a telephone inside. And viscerally, you want to get to the telephone, which means that you look for an entry automatically. It even bypasses your mind. How do I get to the telephone? You open the door. They make sure that the door is easy to open. And the old ones used to have it where it was kind of like a little accordion so that you could open it. It didn't open out and hurt people. It didn't take up a lot of room. You go in, you close it, the little accordion door, and you're in there privately having your conversation. That was the next point. It made you want to use a phone because you had privacy in this little box. And then it became part of the zeitgeist, spirit of times, the, Superman going into the telephone booth for guess what? Privacy. Isn't that something? So just even understanding how products are made, they become valuable. Now, I promise you I was going to talk about perceived value. One of the ways for perceived value, Steve Jobs was not the first one, but instead of the phone booth with the phone inside it to give you privacy, he was like, oh yeah, he wasn't the first one to come up with the telephone, and he wasn't even the one to come up with the the earphones, headphones to go into the phone, but he did come up with the earbuds. How many times have you seen someone and you think they're talking to you, but they got an earbud right in their ear, having a conversation privately? this is another iteration, and this is where the perceived value comes. You can have something that does the same thing, but when you understand how to present it in different formats and what people value, then that's where perceived value comes in. I write books. I put out products. One of the things that I've had to learn, an ebook is not as valuable as an audiobook. An audiobook does not garner as much money to me from the people as a full course with video, audio, and all of it. And so it's the same information put in different formats. And so understanding this stuff is stuff that I've taken for granted for years, but I'm now seeing that everybody should understand how to take an idea. As my sister says, you know, she says you take ideas out of thin air and turn them into money, but how to do that. And I'm not going to say it's easy, but I am going to say, if you're listening and this is hitting you in a certain way, I'm going to need you to get on that. And the way you can do that is watch this space, because I'm going to have a little accountability group. If at the time you listen to this and the accountability group is active, get in here, because I'm going to be helping you turn this into something real. It is a skill that can be taught, that can be replicated, and it is a necessary skill. You do not want to be out here thinking that, oh, I'm not going to work, I'm going to go get in an MLM. No, that is not the first thing you should do. The first thing you should do is learn how to be self-sufficient so that you can come up with things that are ideas that work for you, that you can turn into problem solutions for others, imbue them with value, then choose the right perceived value. And then it is a win-win where people are willing to give you their concentrated energy in the form of money because they see or feel or perceive the value that what you're offering is more than them holding on to their concentrated energy in the form of money. All right, so that's just some food for thought. And I hope that it starts to build something in you so that you understand you gotta get on this. Because in another video, I talked about the 30-day fallacy of thinking that you're going to become proficient just in 30 days. I don't care what people tell you. Human nature says that we need to have time to ingest the information. We need to have time to practice it, and not only practice it, have deliberate practice. And yeah, I know that you can become proficient in 20 hours, but you can become masterful in 10,000. I get that. But still, and so, don't think that you're going to just be able to come out here and get in the race, because this is not a rat race out here. This is a creative race. This is a different something. When you're dealing with people who on the regular are used to creating something out of nothing that has real value, that delivers on its promise, over delivers on its promise, where people regularly use it and get the results and come back for return, you know, buying stuff over and over from us. So these are the kind of skills that I want to make you aware of. These are the brilliant quests that you are going to be able to do. And I want to make sure that you're not out here lost and feeling like you can't do it without a job. I don't want you to feel like I'm stuck, but my job doesn't pay enough for my life. I want you to know that you can have your job or you can leave your job all right? So don't forget to like and subscribe. Check the description for more information on how to contact me, how to look at any of the additional past this offerings that are available at the time that you check it out. And I'm going to see you sooner than later. Thanks. This has been Michelle, your big sis from Brilliant Quest.